Hello, Cesar. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. It's great to have Embraer as a big supporter of AviaDev. We really do appreciate the support for both AviaDev Africa and AviaDev Europe. Today, we are going to talk more about Europe, and the reason for that is that you are relocating soon, and you have changed positions within Embraer. But we'll get to that very soon. Before, let's start with your aviation journey. When and how did it all begin, and how did you make it to your current role in Embraer?
Well, that's very interesting because I never thought I could one day work in aviation because I'm a civil engineer by background, and my first job when I finished university was in a consulting company for financial services. However, when I started with a master degree 19 years ago in aeronautics, and then when I completed my master degree, I joined Embraer, and I'm here with Embraer for 17 years already. It has been a great journey because now I'm passionate for aviation. Right? So when we are in the aviation business, I think we cannot go out anymore because it's such a passionate business. Is so exciting. There is challenges all the time. Or there's no time to rest or to just relax. But this is what really excites me about aviation. So it has been a great journey with Embraer, 17 years with Embraer, plus another 2 years studying aviation. So, and I hope to stay for a long time in this business.
Yeah, once you have this jet A1 in your veins, it's very difficult to get it out.
Exactly. Yeah. We say that we are addicted to aviation, and it is really true. And we see that we develop so many relationships in the industry over the years. And people, they can change, they move around, change companies, but they're always in the same business. So the same people, the same old friends. So it's a small industry, in fact.
Yeah, absolutely. The last 5 months was the most challenging period in the history of aviation. I think we can all agree on that. So, how was that time for Embraer and for you personally?
Indeed, has been very challenging for the industry, and it's no different for Embraer. We have been facing a lot of challenges, especially because this crisis has affected the core of our business, which is travel and entertainment. Right? So Embraer has been affected, like many of our customers and our other OEMs as well. Fortunately, we have a very good cash position. We are very efficient as a company. We learned how to be efficient over the past 51 years of history of Embraer. And this is important to be agile, to be efficient, have a lower cost base, to be able to weather the storm that we are facing now. So Embraer has been affected, but we will survive, of course, and we'll get through this and emerge stronger, as we believe many of our customers will do. So it's not been easy, but I must bring a word of confidence here that we will overcome the situation, and we can see a light at the end of the tunnel when we start seeing some recovery in the industry. The good news is that we haven't received any request for cancellation from our customers. So they are all committed to the E-Jets family with the E2, with the E175, E1 as well. That shows that they believe in the segment, they believe in the product, and this is very important for Embraer. Of course, we are going to a valley, a difficult moment, but we will overcome this quickly.
And how about you personally? So you are still based in Singapore. So how those last 5 months were in Singapore?
Yeah, for us, especially that we are used to travel a lot, that's our business, to visit customers, it has been a bit challenging to stay at home, not traveling, not meeting people, but the technology has helped a lot. Of course, we can now meet or have calls over video conference. It's not ideal, but it's a great tool we can use today. It's good for the family because now I'm at home. They are now used to see me at home all day long. I've been working from home for the past 5 to 6 months. It has been a good experience, by the way. In fact, I haven't experienced this in my whole life. It's always traveling. I still have to relocate with my new role at Embraer. I'm planning to relocate to Amsterdam. I'm still based in Singapore. But this of course, is a bit challenging during the COVID times. But nothing something that, is preventing us to develop our activities, to work, to be in touch with customers, to meet with the team. So the pro is being closer to the family for longer. This is good, but we expect to be back to normal soon.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's always important to look for positives, even in those difficult situations as we are facing now. So, um, and we always should focus on things what we can do, as we discussed before the interview, what we can influence. So, you mentioned your customers a couple of times. So, how exactly Embraer has been supporting your customers over the last period of time when they are facing really, really difficult challenges?
That's a very good point. So this time, everybody's suffering. Everyone has been affected by the crisis. So it's time to collaborate, to cooperate, to discuss the best alternatives for everyone. And Embraer has been very, very supportive to customer needs. So we discuss with one-on-one what their needs, how can we help, how can the customers can support us as well. And just an example, in the beginning of the pandemic, you received a lot of requests to switch the cabin or to come up with the solutions for the customers to carry cargo in the cabin, like cargo on seats or even remove seats to carry more cargo because the demand for cargo increased a lot. And we were able to provide a solution to the customers. We had many customers flying cargo on seats or even removing seats to fly cargo to adapt to the new situation. So this is one example where Embraer was able to quickly respond to the customer needs during the pandemic and provide a solution so the customer can keep the fleet flying and generating revenue and cash for their business. There are many other examples where we have been collaborating with customers. We have been discussing ways forward, even for fleet renewals or right sizing. We have been very, very not only collaborative, but also we have been adapting the way we can to support our customers. Of course, the customer support side, no impact. We have been fully supporting our customers on their operation, the people on the team, the field. So the people on the field, they still they are developing their activities normally, supporting the fleet. And of course, we keep discussing with customers about the future business.
Yeah, adapting is very important. Actually, we have it in our claim of our event. So adapt, develop, engage. So that's very, very important. And actually, you will have to adapt to a new role very soon. So you are changing position. So far you've been in charge of Asia Pacific region. Now, as of August, I think you are now the Vice President for Europe, Middle East, and Africa at Embraer Commercial Aviation. So you mentioned that you are going to relocate from Singapore to Amsterdam very soon. So what will be the first 3 things you will do in your new office in Amsterdam?
Well, I would say the first thing is to ensure a smooth transition, especially to our customers, because it's a big role. It's a big position because this position has been first occupied by Arjen Meijer. Arjen Meijer now is the CEO of Embraer Commercial Aviation. Then Martin Holmes, that was promoted to CCO. And now I have big shoes to fill in this position. So I want to ensure that we keep and further develop the relationship with customers in the region, in EMEA region. It's also important that I want to bring in, this is number 2, 3, and 4. I want to be close to our customers, to help them, to support them during these difficult times. So we must come up with solutions. We must come up with ideas to help and support our customers for them, not only during the crisis, but especially after the crisis, because I'm optimistic. So I believe that this crisis will be over, sooner than later. And what's next? So this is why I'm committed to work hand in hand with our airlines and existing customers to support their future business needs. So my priority is really to be close to the customer to make sure we have the right solution for them.
We have many common partners, for example, airlines in Europe like Binter, Canarias, or Widerøe, that are already operating your state-of-the-art E2195, the Profithunter. So What are your plans with this aircraft, and particularly in Europe? And actually, we have one as well branded with AviaDev branding, thanks to our long-term cooperation. So what about plans for a Profithunter in Europe?
As you mentioned, we have many customers in Europe. We are very excited because the E2 is very suitable for Europe. Not only the size, the efficiency, but also it's an environment-friendly aircraft. Right? In terms of single-aisle airplane, jet single-aisle, is the one with the lowest emissions in the world. No other aircraft is so efficient as the E2 family. And our customers, they are giving testimonies on how the aircraft is really efficient. You know, the low fuel burn, which translates, of course, in lower emissions, is just amazing. Right? So recently, in a delivery flight to Helvetic, for example, which is another customer based in Switzerland, they recorded the record and flying almost 7,500 kilometers non-stop. It's not only the aircraft efficiency and range, but also due to the low fuel burn of the aircraft, so the aircraft can fly longer. So we believe the E2 is going to be a great fit for many airlines in Europe, not only for point-to-point operation, but also to feed hubs. So it's suitable for all business models. But we are also a believer that the E195 E2, especially the bigger model, in a high density configuration, can be very suitable for low cost carriers because it's, you know, cost per seat basis is comparable with the narrow bodies, for example, A320neo, but in the cost per trip, it's much lower, 25 or up to 30% less trip cost. And in the new scenario, in the new world, when we don't have a lot of demand and demand cannot be stimulated by low fares, we believe that this aircraft would be ideal for many operations in Europe. So we are very excited and positive about the E2 applicability and future in Europe.
And in high density configuration, the total capacity of the Profithunter is 150 seats. Is that correct?
It's 146.
146.
Yeah, 146. Yeah, for the 195 E2.
Undeniably, Embraer is a leader in segment of up to 150 seats aircraft, which is also called the crossover jet. So how do you see this segment evolving, especially in the post-COVID world? You have already touched on that a little bit. So yes, we are expecting that in the upcoming future, who knows how long it will take. IATA was recently saying that they don't expect the full recovery of the industry earlier than in 2024, I believe. So it will be a long and slow recovery. So I think that can bring lots of opportunities for Embraer in this segment.
That's right. It's not only about having the right aircraft during the crisis, but even post-COVID, when the market recovers. Now I think this crisis has taught us a lesson, which is we need to have a flexible fleet. In multiple sizes is not going to be seen as a complexity anymore, but rather as an insurance against crises and downturns, because the industry is cyclical. We have learned that over the past, over the history, right? So every 10 years or so, the industry has ups and downs, peaks and drops, and we have to adapt. And if you have a single type or a single fleet with a single size, we have learned that one size does not fit all. So what we are saying is that the E2 is not only suitable to help airlines to weather the storm, but also to provide flexibility for the future, more adaptability, so they can better match capacity to demand. They can really plan the growth in a more sustainable level or in a sustainable way. They can also be better prepared when another downturn comes, and we never know when it could happen, but we must be prepared. So that's the idea we should show, and we are here to support airlines to show that the E2 is really a flexible machine, flexible tool for them to be better prepared in a crisis or in good times when the demand is high. Because when the demand is growing or back to 2019 levels, they also can expand the network by opening new markets, or can increase frequencies to offer more alternatives and options to customers. So the smaller aircraft, 100 or 70 to 150 seats, is a sweet spot to provide airlines the flexibility, regardless if it's a crisis or during good times.
Absolutely. I saw a quote somewhere that life always has its ups and downs. If it doesn't, you are dead. So I think that's very relevant for our industry as well. And it means we are still alive, we are still fighting. So it's great to have Embraer as a partner for us, for AviaDev. So we will have our online event in a couple of days, and looking forward to hear your colleague Michal Novak speaking on one of the panels. So as always, thank you very much for your long-term support. Thank you very much for your time today for the interview. And last question before we say goodbye, you have mentioned your passion for aviation, so I'm really curious what you will say on this. So I always ask this at the very end of the interview. So what do you love the most about aviation? If there can be one thing, or you can say three things or five.
I think what is really fascinating is because, again, I'm an engineer anyway by background, and the airplane is just an amazing art made by the man. So such a complex machine that is able to fly. And now, especially nowadays, it's such safe way to transport people. That's just amazing. It's fascinating. How can put tons fly in the air, carrying people, carrying lives in a very safe ways, safer than any other transport mode. This is just amazing. And I'm fascinated about technology. I'm fascinated about new things. And this is why aviation is so fascinating. It brings people together, closer, right? We are able to fly long distances in a short period of time. So regardless, if you are visiting families, friends, if you are traveling for work or for holidays, for a study, we shorten the distances. We bring people together. This is what for me is fascinating about aviation.
I can totally relate to that. I definitely 100% agree. So thanks a lot, Cesar, again for your time, and all the best. Fingers crossed for the future, for your relocation to Amsterdam, and for the future of Embraer as well. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, Juraj. Always available. Thank you very much for the